This year's NBA playoffs. The game is set to be a game changer. Why do you say that? First, we have official statistics. The average number of players in the playoffs this year. The record is the highest in almost 28 years. The average collection rate for the final round. He is 18 years old. New highs after the war. The NHL is the biggest sports league in the world, trying to get 4 times as far as the final. The second, Fulgencio seems to be returning to the NBA. Of course, this is not a trick. The players' resistance to the game. Financial judgments have begun to allow for a lot of physical contact. The first is that the government has not yet taken any action to stop the violence. They are also invisible. You're the one who's been watching the war. President Trump of the United States. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. The NBA's defense today. The first time I saw a video of a woman in a car was a few years ago. What exactly does he mean by win-win? I believe that everyone is smart too. The media has been trying to get the news out of the media. The outside world is starting to shoot. The report also highlights the importance of the EU's financial and economic policies. The 2 men were arrested for the same offenses. The game is fair and fair. The video also showed the video of the match being played by fans. So this time we're going to take a look at the price. The latest industry moves in the last few years. The NBA is suffering in recent times. He is probably the most critically acclaimed member of the union since he joined the union. The main reason is that he is on the field. The number of people who are sexually protected. The focus of the hand is on the awarding of the final season 3 to Browns. The first time the hand was held was at 4:46 p.m. The defense of the horse. The first is the band of Myanmar and the band of Browns. The walls near the line of fire are in a state of disarray. The video was shot on the internet. The right hand of the Aryan people is missing from behind. The handshake pressed directly into Brown's back position. The next step is to get a clear picture. The first time I saw this, I was in the middle of a conversation with a friend. After the action, Brown instantly promised. The attackers were killed in the attack. The first is the firefighting, the scene of the slavery. But this is one of them. The first is the return of the people. The court ruled that the law enforcement officials had been unable to prosecute Ms. Wembanyama. Knicks fans are very unhappy about this. The results are not realistic. The team is always in real class. The first is the city of the dead and the second is the city of the dead. After the race. This is a moment of controversy. Once a flashlight, the first hotspot in the US. According to quarterly marketing reports, the referee admitted that he had sentenced the man to death. The UN will review the move, deciding whether to upgrade additional criminals. But finally, the official website of the UN and the Myanmar government, there are more prosecutions. This is a great opportunity. The driver's department took the lead in expressing dissatisfaction. He believes that Wembanyama is becoming a member of the alliance, the most protected players in the promotion. The ball should be punished for maliciously returning. The same thing happened to the other 2. The final was held in the West District. The story of the Grey Wolf. The second part lasted until 8:39 p.m. Professor of situation on the field. The government has also called for a military coup against the Taliban. Nick was attacked by McDonald. Read with the Read Reporter. The results are in the long run of the opponent's turn. Wembanyama is a handball player. The media is trying to get rid of the bullying. Reed's neck in the plane crash. The first time. The government has also been criticizing the Myanmar government for its anti-government policies. The first is the blood of the road. Right-wing criminals are rated as second-class malicious. The country is in the process of being eliminated from the game. The sentence exploded instantly. The first time the fans of the main stadium will be in the stadium, they will be in the stadium. He is a bit of a cat face. The question of whether Bonas was still in his place was not clear. What does this mean? But after the race, I'm not sure what the problem is. NBA will hold additional penalties for Wembanyama. The contest is not only a competition. The government has not even paid a fine. The following is a list of the countries. The bamboo Myanmar is divided. The government has also been able to cut its capital by 20%. He is a good opponent. The video was posted on Twitter on Tuesday. The coalition is trying to kill Myanmar. The next step is to build a new alliance. The first is the special attitude to the polar regions. The following is a list of the so-called special attitude is not enough. But the Myanmar government. The contest is going to be a huge success. The first is the city of the dead. This is the case with Nikil. The government has been trying to protect the people of Myanmar from the violence. Trying to get down. Almarado at noon. The party is on the march right now. The first is the Wembanyama. After a second physical contact, the government has also been trying to get the government to stop the violence. I'm not going to say anything about it. The financials are still not revealed. Nick also said, young man from Myanmar, the need for better control of emotions. But in fact, the scale of this action, it's a bit of a shock to me. The next round is the first round. The first is the castle attack. Almarado used the most obvious drag action. The first is the castle, which 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 is that. So, what is the meaning of this? The government has been trying to get the government to stop the violence. What is the meaning of this? He and Chairman Wu refuse. The psychology of the factory. The first is the sweetie movement. The judge won't blow. The word fire. The first is that the government is not going to be able to keep up with the demands of the people. A round of the race. He is the first player to score a goal in the tournament. The video was posted on Facebook. Second grade talk. Now, there is a line waiting for us. The smile is a physical contact. The first is the greatest day of the year. The following is a list of the countries. Wembanyama has been actively finding a smile. The government has also been criticized for not doing enough. The smile was interesting. He was only a little bit late. It seems like a lot more. This is a good thing, but it is not a good thing. I can't see. The first is the Vietnamese government. The video is very simple. What is the reason for this? What shaped him today? The image of the opposition. I'm not sure about this. The first is the return of the roses. The final of the semi-final. The first is that the internet is not a place for people to be. The race. I'm going to go down there. It's always been full of the victim's self-defense, the atmosphere of revenge. The first is the return of the party. The game is a great game for players. The government has taken different measures to combat horse traffic. For example, the Chinese blue-collar pain. In addition to the previous video, the number of people who have been killed. The first is the city of the dead. He was a member of the National Assembly of Myanmar NPA and the National Assembly of Myanmar NPA during the demonstrations against the Myanmar government. The first is that the world is not a miracle. The top of the head, the arm, the blue ball movement in the country almost increased the number of prisoners. This is the same as Chet. In a ball, the painting on the blue board is a struggle. The government has also been trying to stop the Myanmar government from taking action. He was a great man, and he was very proud of his achievements. In contrast, the outside guard of the gun locker, it's not a good place to go. This is a good example. The horseshoe line completed the supers. The game is over. The first is the straight dragon. The front of the truck behind the building looks like a mirror. The first two blue cars were taken before the first two. The only thing that is going to stop me is that. The first is to be aware of the balance. The head of Cass was tilted and hit. It is obvious. The move has gone beyond normal defense. The two men were even involved in a dangerous move. She is also very angry. If not, stop the action in time. The resulting slope is a massive seeding. The report also highlights the importance of the right to privacy. It's almost a truck. The usual means, including the last few issues. The car was also on its way home. The same way, the upper blue of the car was destroyed. I'm not sure. Players on both sides look alike. It can be difficult to make friends. The last thing I ever wanted to do was to get a psychological defense. The last few days have been a very difficult one. Myanmar's change in mind. The last 5 floodwaters were created. He was in the hallway. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get the money. The scene of the murderous crime. Finally, Pramley is in the first round of the playoffs. I'm going to use a bunch of them. McCain was shot in the back. The response was strong. So in the North, it looks like, after the final, the horse was taken to the final. The West End has not yet been healed from the red-hot poisoning. I'm totally out of the way. The use of some actions is not in the same order. I'm not sure what to do with this. The game is played with a football move. The round that hit Brown. This is a clear example. The government is not going to be able to keep up with the demand. The judge may have burned them to death. But if the aftermath is real, the moment is crucial. The first is that the people of the country are not allowed to see the world. The following is a list of the topics covered. The video is a bit of a shock. The series was released in the United States on December 12, 2012. There are also many controversial moves. The final of the East Region Cup. The real and living martial arts. Last minute of regular time. Mitchell's goalless draw. The first was the death of Osar. The race is in the extension race. The film is about the life of a man. After the defense was completed, O'Sullivan is playing football. Allen from the North. The first time the media has been able to get a response from the media, it's been a long time coming. The first time I saw the video was in the video. This is a clear violation of the law. The game is a free-to-play game, and the game is a free-to-play game. The referee was sent back to the track. There are no extra judgments. The last time I saw the race was in the end. I bought a live race. In some ways, the controversial verdict. The series has changed the course of the series. What is the meaning of this? We've changed our perspective to the next one. The Yellow Peak fire is a game of chance. The same amount was also found. The action of the method. The contest continues until the beginning of the second part. The first is the battle of the sexes. The first is the snowflake and the second is the snowflake. But in the moment in the Dow, he deliberately reached out and pulled away. Add August War. The resulting backlash in the fight against the blue board. The moment of loss. The whole group fell to the ground in the back of their heads. They can't take their own land. The following is a list of the most common types of floating. The first is the showdown. The referee's route to the venue. The report also states that the government has not taken any action to stop the violence. This has caused a huge controversy after the race. The first is the Department of the People. The government has not apologized to add August. The final result. The coalition has not been able to stop the attack. The first is the nuclear race. It is symbolic. The first time I saw this was in the US. What is the meaning of this? Nick's account of his old money. The result was too much loss. The first is the Hero Robinson fight. The first was a dangerous pull-arm move. The two were then entangled. The number of people who were in the country is growing. The movement also brought people together. The first is the Odinic. The first ever meeting of the Chinese government. I'm just saying goodbye to Robinson's body. The problem is that the government is not going to be able to do it. The first is the same goes for pistols and knights. The first is the story of a young man named Jason. The first is the Shuang. The two then held basketball together. The game is a fight. But then, it seems that Tyson still thinks that today is the day. After his first failed attempt at volleyball. The story is a bit of a mess. The attackers were killed by a gunman who was shot in the head by a police officer. The crowd immediately protested. Finally, the referee only blasted Tyson for one technical infraction. But what's interesting is that, in this round, the story of the first woman to be killed in a plane crash in the city of St. Louis. The first is that the government is not going to be able to keep the people from being angry. No head wound. She has a language nurse in her heart. I'm not a player at your level, and I'm not a player who deserves to be a player. I was playing the Emperor's Giants that year. The end of the video. I'm not saying that. The country is a strong opposition. The government has already taken steps to reduce the number of people in the country. But hardness is not the same as being held up. Competition is not the same as hurt. The judge? The same amount of French is required. How to avoid dangerous moves. The risks involved. The first is to get the ball to the ball. The game is a game of chance for players to really get out of the game. The fans are looking forward to seeing the most. What do you think about this? What about these controversial actions?